Hello, I'm Ryan Vasquez and welcome to my QR code tutorial. If you're wondering what a QR code looks like, there's an example right there on the front page. But you may be wondering, what exactly is a QR code? It's probably something you want to know before you start making one. A QR code stands for a quick response code. It's a 2D barcode essentially. When scanned by a reader, like a camera in your smartphone, a QR code can quickly link you to more information about the product that the code is attached to. So, what applications might something like this have? I guess there are many applications for QR codes. You may actually experience them in everyday life. They may be attached to a poster or a product out there. Businesses use them to promote new products or services. Alabama Public Radio, which I work for, is currently using them to provide more information about the houses on the Kitchens of Consequence stores. For instance, caterers and maybe people who've helped redo kitchens. This will be attached to a web page that they'll be linked to. This tour is taking place in Tuscaloosa. Whenever a link to more information is needed, try thinking of using a QR code first. So, how do you create a QR code? Well, there are many sites, literally many sites. And if you are looking for the best, you want to kind of vet some of them. Some require you to reroute through their site if you use their service. You probably want to avoid those. You want to make it as easy, quick to get to someplace, which is why I put this graph over here to the right. This is something being done by watchmouse.com, and this was for last year, although they do have up-to-date data. But what they found here was that of all the ones, GOO.GL, which is Google's, does it in the shortest amount of time in 100%, very few failures. Actually, the FB.me, which I believe is Facebook's, apparently takes the longest in this study here. And you can kind of pick what you want. Many programs like Facebook, YouTube, etc. Have their own QR code generators to help it make it easier for you to actually do it in their own programs. If you're looking for up-to-the-date, assessments of all of these, you can go to the URL at the bottom there, the one that says urlshorteners.publicwebsitestatus.com, and they'll give you up-to-the-date stats on all of the ones that are out there that they're covering. So for our purposes here, we're going to use the best. The ubiquitous Google has its own. The Google URL shortener, GOO.GL, has the ability to also create a QR code in it. And once you're there, you should see a screen like this, and it'll prompt you to input information. So we'll move to the next screen. And here, now we have the www.publicbroadcasting.net URL that you're seeing there. You can put that into the box. You paste it there, or you can copy it from your web browser or something like that, or type it in if you know what you're looking for, and you click on the shorten button. And what you'll get is something that looks like this. Off to the right of the shorten button, where that arrow says "and over here," you'll get a shortened URL for the one you just plugged into the box. And down below, you'll get a list. And there you'll see that URL again, www.publicbroadcasting.net. And right next to it, you'll see that shortened URL that you also see above. But more importantly, in that same line, all the way to the right, you'll see a link for details. Click on that, and you'll get this screen. It gives you some analysis of it, and it breaks it down, but you get that QR code to the right. So here it is. That's the QR code for the publicbroadcasting.net URL. You can right-click on it, and this gives you a couple of options for our purposes, but what we're going to use is either the save image as or the copy image. If you click on the copy image, you can paste it directly into an open Word document so you can print it. You could also place it somewhere else, such as a website that you're building or any other word processor. If you want to click on the save image as, this will send it to your clipboard, and that'll allow you to upload it to a website or place it in a document later. Actually, that'll happen with your copy image, but the save image as will actually place it in a folder for you, and that'll allow you to just drop it in whenever you have the luxury of doing so. So if you do it like we do it with the I guess the copy image as or save image, you can put it directly into, say, this PowerPoint, and that's something that you'll get. And your camera right there, a picture of a camera, will be capable of taking a picture of it. But you have to do something to your camera to allow it to read that QR code first. So we're going to tell you how to set up a QR reader as well. And essentially, a QR reader is anything that has a camera and internet access in it. So that essentially enables your smartphone, your iPhones, your Androids, etc., whatever's on the market right now that has a camera and has 3G, 4G wireless access to the internet. Your iPods have, especially like iPod touches, have the ability to connect to a wireless network and also have cameras in them, so they can be set up to do the same thing. And tablet PCs like an iPad or any tablet PC that has a camera in it and internet access can also serve the same purposes. For our purposes, we're going to try to find something that is good on all platforms. And some of these do work. For instance, Google Shopper, BTag Reader, ScanLife Reader, all good and recommended by many websites. But for our purposes, we're going to use NeoReader. And the URL at the bottom there is get.neoreader.com. And that's what you're actually going to plug into your browser on your phone. You're going to want to set this up on the device you're using. So when you put the URL into the browser on your phone, like you see at the top, get.neoreader.com with the slash, you'll end up getting this page. And what this page will tell you is that essentially the phone you're using, and it tries to identify the phone so it knows how to plug it in. And this is an Apple iPhone, so the manufacturer pops up where the two red arrows are, Apple and iPhone. That is correct. So the next thing you do is you click on the here in the click here if this is correct line. You'll get a screen like you see to the left. It's the info screen. It'll kind of give you a breakdown of everything that's going on with NeoReader and, kind of a sell it to you pitch. But that little button to the top says free, and that's kind of the most important thing for our issue here. We don't want you to have to pay. There are many great QR code readers out there that are essentially cheap, or as cheap as can be. Free is pretty cheap. When you click on it, you'll get a screen like you see to the right. It's exactly the same, except you have that free button turning into a green install button. You click on that button and you're ready to go. Once it starts installing, it'll take you back to your app screen. Here we are back on the iPhone app screen, and yours may look a little different if you're not doing it on an iPhone. You'll see all the buttons around the one that's waiting are bright, and this one is dull. It's because it's not ready to use yet. So while it's downloading, it has that little bar down there, and it'll show you the progression as it initializes and does everything it needs to do. Once it's completely downloaded, it'll turn bright. When it does do that, you can click on it and essentially initialize the program. So this is the screen you'll get when you click on that button in your app screen. It launches NeoReader, and NeoReader, this essentially is going to launch your camera, and you can do that by touching on the screen with your finger. Your camera will pop up, and you'll get the opportunity to take a picture, much like you see in the picture on the left. Guy's using his phone to take a picture of a QR code, I guess essentially at a bus stop. And you'll get something like, you get to the right on your phone, a picture of your QR code. Now you make sure you get all the QR code in your picture. You want to make sure you don't chop anything off so it can read all the data. And you want to make sure there's not too much white space. You don't want to confuse it and give it an issue. You want to give it as much as possible. And actually the picture to the right is the QR code I took with the camera. And you'll end up with the screen on the left. Once it reads it and shows that there is content, your content will pop up in the little white box underneath content, and this takes us to a page for the Kitchens of Consequence tour I was talking about earlier. And you can do two things with it. You can either click on open, which will launch your browser using the URL, or you can copy to a clipboard and then paste it into a browser once you launch it later and you can drive the URL right in there. And what you'll get is the screen on the right. This is connected to the content, and essentially what this shows us as kind of a little bit of an overview of the tour. It's a list of homes and caterers attached to each one. It lets you know how to get to these different places. It shows you where the layout of all the homes are for the tour on the map, and kind of a little bit of a contact page as well if you're having any issues. Well, I hope that was helpful, and good luck when you head out into the world using QR codes and setting up your QR reader. And join me next time for more tutorials.